So Terry, we're on a Lombard hunting trip, aren't we?
We're on a Lombard hunt. So here we are in lovely Bridgewater, Maine, of all places. In the heart. Now we can't be specific exactly where we're going.
Of course not. No.
But we are in the heart of Aroostook County, and we have a huge swath of forest. And the little section that we're in over by the Canadian border right now, this is potato country. We like to call it God's country. So we're off on a Lombard hunt.
Pretty exciting.
It is.
Plotted this whole thing out. This is amazing.
Oh yeah, because once we get off the beaten path, the problem is the roads. So we're going to come down here, we're going to take a right up here, we're going to park right here, we'll hike down all the way down into here. So. We're doing it now, Herb. This is there. Herb, I thought you were navigating for me.
Oh, nice to have a backup camera anyway.
Now we got to go backwards.
Scratch my truck.
Brand new truck. Great way to break it in.
So that's the beginning of the Prescott Stream right there.
Wow. A lot of bugs here.
Front foot.
And you've got the Lombard parts manual?
Because the whole idea, Herb, is once we're in there, we can actually go through this, and as we inventory the site,
Oh, yes.
because one of our jobs is to document the site, we can kind of figure out what we...
Wow. It's our first boiler and a steam engine.
The steam engine had poppet valves. There's the seats right there in the cages. And in here, that's a good sized boiler. You can see part of the foundation right here.
This may be a feed pump for the boiler right behind us. Ash pit, we think. And maybe there were two boilers, we're not sure.
Two boilers.
Wow.
That is cool. More shafting.
Oh no.
What I'm going to do,
This is part number 71 for the gas Lombard. Lombard sled.
That's a carton joint right there, Herb.
Wow.
Right?
Look at that. So Lombard trackpad sections. Well, you could almost build a Lombard with these parts. Yeah, this is the oil
Do we need one of these?
oiler holder. This is the engine cylinder block for the Lombard engine. I think this could be the engine or part of it.
Yeah. So the way that...
This is an original Lombard engine, broken in half. Terry's digging out the second half. We think this is one of the very first gas engines made by Lombard. Four-cylinder. It actually failed and broke in half, and it's been repaired at least once. A field repair with the block broke in half. Four cylinders. We see two here and two more up here.
What we've got here on this particular site is we found a very early parts to a 1916 Lombard log hauler, specifically a Lombard lag bed tractor. One of the early ones. And for a while, between 1914 and 1916, Lombard made his own engines for his tractor. He made a 6-cylinder and he made a 4-cylinder. What we have here is the remains of the 4-cylinder out of that 1916 lag bed. And it's an L-head design. all made by Lombard, which is amazing considering the size of his operation, that he was more a custom order sort of operation. A few interesting things is, one, the size of this four-cylinder engine is pretty darn good size. We'll probably measure the bore here before we leave. The other thing is some of the details of it. If you look down through this, you'll see that there's no webs for the main bearings. And what Lombard did is very much like Aston Martin did later on in the 1960s. He used removable webs to support his bearings, his main bearings. So those actually bolted into the crankcase just like this, and then your crankshaft course went through. Now it's very easy for servicing. The only problem is the crankcase wouldn't have a lot of torsional rigidity. And in this case, to kind of counteract that, he made a round, semi-round crankcase. And what's interesting too is he included 3 motor mounts. And if you come around to this side, you can actually see where they had a catastrophic failure. So this engine at some point had a catastrophic failure. You can see where a connecting rod left a non-factory original exit point right there. It broke the crankcase, it blew the side out. And if you look here, you can see that this was patched at one time too, so it's probably a weak point to begin with after the previous failure. You can see here where the lifter guides would go through for your valves, and the valve guides are right here. We have an exhaust, part of an exhaust stack that would have gone like this. A very interesting design, and we're really excited to find this today. You don't come across things like this every day, particularly in the world of hunting Lombard parts. So, all in all, a very good find. We talked about this engine having a catastrophic failure. Well, there's some more proof of it right there. So there's the offending connecting rod that came undone and blasted itself out through the block, side of the block and the crankcase. You can see it took some massive blows right there.
And it bent the rod also.
It bent it. So there's the mystery. And chances are probably a bolt let go.
Now we're on.
So we found part number 108, which was the crankcase, and we found part 109, which is the cylinder block. We didn't find the head. I thought somewhere as I saw the cover. We'll have to see if we can find part 261, which is the differential drive gear casing. And then we've also got the pinion gears. So this is all part of the rear differential.
And those are in this Lombard parts?
That's all in the parts manual.
Very nice. Quite a find. Right here.
1, 2, 3, 4. That's the intake. That's the manifold there.
Yeah, 2 manifolds.
2 manifolds.
Pretty impressive. And another differential cover broken.
So we're finding more and more pieces to this engine. It's a hot day. I'm sweating bullets here. This is actually the upper water manifold. It would sit just like this. And of course we're missing the cylinder head itself. And we're missing this cylinder block. So we found that. That was cool. We also found the exhaust manifold, which is right here. And that would have gone on this side as well, which is pretty neat. So the whole thing is we just keep finding more parts, which is awesome. A little bit about this site. So there was a company in 1916 by the name of the Maine Shoe Last Company, and they set up an operation at Harvey Siding, which is a ways from here, but close enough. And what shoe lasts were is they were hardwood blocks that were used to make lasts for producing shoes. And apparently this site here was a mill site where they had a resaw mill that would saw up the maple logs into set lengths, and then they shape them into the rectangular blocks, and then they'd be hauled out. What we know is that in 1916, January 1916, the Maine Shoe Last Company purchased a Lombard lag bed tractor, and we're looking at the remains of it right here. Now, we don't think the company lasted all that long, because in September 1917 there was a fire at their Harvey Siding facility. It burned up 45 boxcar loads of lasts, and after that we hear nothing else more about the company. At the time, the shoe last industry was actually pretty hefty here in Maine to support the shoe industry, along with you also had tanneries, etc., which is pretty cool. So quite a bit of history right here in this pile of rusted stuff.
Way back out, it's 92 degrees, Terry says.
8 months worth of winter up there.